Because the numbers are so small of examples, it only takes a few people for the price to go up, but then once those people get those displays, and if there aren't new people coming into the hobby at a time, and then other examples come up for sale, then the next one may sell for significantly less than the one before. Whereas, things like action figures, because there are, hundreds of thousands, millions of action figures out there, the prices tend to be pretty stable because there's a pretty stable supply and a pretty stable demand.
But yeah, if you can't find something, I mean, you're going to get frustrated, and then you're not going to collect it. So, or if you're showing something, you see it on a regular basis, you're like, hey, this is cool, I'll buy it. But if you never see them because nobody's really gone for sale, then it really doesn't draw people in. So that's the point of this presentation. I'm trying to get all you guys into display collectors. That'll make my collection worth a lot more money. Here's a metal display. Todd thinks this is much more than an unloved child. I don't know if these sell all that well. But
this is a very beautiful looking display. If you saw this display in person, you would say this is one sharp display. The colors on it's printed on aluminum, and so it has really vibrant red and black, and with the brushed aluminum. So personally, I think this looks really nice, and they don't turn up very often. And actually, I'll point out that. There's two sides to this. It's actually two pieces of metal riveted together, but oftentimes you will find them only one side of it. So just if you happen to find a one-sided one, it didn't come that way originally. Either the store did it that way because they wanted to split it apart, or maybe like two friends, kind of fought over it at one point in the back. They're like, well, okay, let's split it up. You get one half, I'll get the other half or something. I don't know why they all got split like that, but it's pretty common to find them to not find both sides.
And to go along with this exciting display is that exciting instruction sheet. You see a picture in the lower right-hand corner there. Pretty exciting stuff there. All right, here's a really, it's like really, this is like ridiculously hard to find with, and the headers you can maybe get every many years, but the bin and trades, they just don't show up. But really, nobody knows about it. It doesn't show the figures, so people aren't really after it that much. Okay, we'll skip over that since I don't have a picture, but micro one is very nice, and sorry, I don't have a picture for you. And there's a shelf talker that goes along with that. Let's go a little bit faster here and get to Return of the Jedi. All right, so Return of the Jedi, here's kind of like consummate Return of the Jedi. Figure's got some crazy art to it. And really, these are findable too. I mean, you can get these for about $500. They're a little bit on the other side, excuse me, and they're a little bit hard to keep or transport just because they've got cardboard sticking out, so that they tend to get damaged fairly easily. So then Kenner used the same picture on the Collectall 79, except they didn't do the die cut outline, and then they put the Emperor and all his buddies on the other side. So that's another findable one that, I mean, looks nice. If you collect Jedi stuff, it goes along, complements the card figure collection very well. This is another nice display. Really, I don't know, people don't really pay that much money for this display, I guess, but and the picture doesn't do this one any justice, but it's a really nice looking foil embossed display.
Yeah, it has a foil. It's cardboard with a foil embossing over it. So once again, that foil really makes it shiny, and also the blacks and the reds are really striking on it.
But I've only told you guys about 10 times already. But like the logo displays, I guess they're not as desirable as the ones that show the figure. So even though this is a really nice looking display, people don't necessarily go after or pay that much money for it. And it's also big. It's a big one. And here's the mother of all displays, humongous Jedi battle display. So this is another one that, I mean, it's desirable, but I don't know if people would pay all that much money for it. It's just huge. I mean, I can't even remember what the dimensions are.
It's like 4 foot. I think it's called 4 foot gondola.
Yeah.
And so, like people a lot of times will ask me, like, valuation on displays, and even especially on modern displays, and how much is this video standee worth? And that it doesn't matter how scarce it is. A lot of it comes down to desirability. And the fact is, most people don't have room to store and display, a bunch of big cardboard pieces. And so, It's not always the case, but oftentimes value can tend to be in inverse proportion to the size.
All right, so getting back to this pre-pack, so we showed the Empire one earlier, and then they came out with this one that they stuck a Jedi one over it. And I don't know, Todd, you want to say something about how these were used?
Well, so I mean, this is called a pre-pack display, and it actually means that it's actually just like the Collect All 12 bins and the 21 bins that we showed earlier. It actually came as a shipping case for action figures, and so this actually had three levels of action figures packed inside it, so they would have shipped up just this huge box full of action figures. And they didn't do that they did that for Star Wars, and they didn't do that for Empire up until the very end. This is like an 82 era display, and actually I've only ever seen one example of the Empire version that didn't have a sticker applied to it. Like I've seen some where you could tell that the Jedi sticker had been taken off, but I've only ever seen one Empire where I think like it actually made it to a store and it was used without having the Jedi logo on it.
So here's another one. This is rare. Really, there's less than 10 of these out there.
So I'd say less than 5.
Yeah. So in my scale, it's kind of between 2 to 10. So I call this one rare. And the Toy Center here, you just don't find it. And this one was probably not used with the figures. It was probably
it included mini rigs.
Yeah. So anyways, the rarity doesn't go along with the price on this one. But now it will, because I told everyone it's really rare. So there you go. Here's a poster display from the collection of the mighty Christopher Julius. Here's a sweepstakes display that was obviously used to promote the sweepstakes. And these are pretty findable. Typically they were packed inside a box with the figures, so they usually have like a vertical crease running down the middle of it, so they folded them up and put them in the narrow figure boxes. There are some out there that don't have a crease, and they are very tough to find.
Yes.
Win your own speeder bike today. Nobody's going to win a speeder bike today, but you all get cereal boxes, so keep your head up.
I got one.
We're almost there. All right, so this is an example of a speeder bike display, and it's a really beautiful looking display. I mean, the actual bin.
The display that is shown there is actually an unproduced version. The production version did not have that neat diorama or the neat action scene on it.
So a lot of times you see these pedal cars for sale, and they're really rare, and there's only 500 or 100 of them available. There's really probably more than 100 speed bike pedal cars out there, because I think they were actually used in several different promotions. There's the very exciting shelf talker for Return of the Jedi. This one's very easily findable. You can get this for $25 to $50, and they go well if you collect Jedi stuff. And there's another sweepstakes display, poster shelf talker. And here's one of Todd's favorite displays.
This was another pre-pack display. This went on top of, would have come on top of a shelf unit that included a bunch of Ewoks.
And if none of you agree that Ewoks are evil, this is the proof. This is proof positive that Ewoks are evil creatures and they ruined Star Wars. All right, there's some more cute little Ewoks. This one came with a blue box, or there's a black box version of it too. All right, so after all the movies were over, they tried to keep the line going, and there was Power of the Force. And there was a pre-packed bin that I don't have, so I don't have a picture of it, but it shows the coin. And here's another pretty tough to find Power of the Force display. I don't know if you guys might have seen the poster for this before. If you got Pete Vilmer's book, I think this is in Pete's book, because it is a poster. It's a really cool display. It shows a bunch of the Power Force figures, and it shows the ProMotion. And like I mentioned, the speeder bike pedal car, they were giving out some more of these speeder bikes during this promotion too. And this little shelf card here, This, I don't think I've seen another one of these. It's like, it's a dumb-looking little display with cups of soda on it, but you just don't see those come around. And then also, you guys might have seen these flyers before. If anyone collects paperwork out there, the flyer. This is where the flyers came from. It's a rebate flyer. Shows the Power of Force things. They came in stacks of like 750 flyers. So if anyone tries to sell you a Power of Force flyer and they say it's rare, then tell them to come see me because I got 750 of them. All right, so that's it for production displays. You guys have any questions about that? Go ahead. Can you stand up? Sorry. Okay.
You just showed one of the Star Wars shelf talkers, but I have one that has like the metal bands that go up.
Toy Galaxy?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get a picture of that.
Which one came first?
The Toy
The
Galaxy.
Galaxy one did, yeah. Galaxy was like 78 cent, Toy Center was 79.
And the Galaxy is definitely tougher to find.
All right, so at Toy Fair, so there's displays that were used in merchandising, and then there's also displays that were used at Toy Fair, and so it's kind of like a double display. It's a display for a display, and here's an example of that. And these came out in 1979 as well. I was lucky enough to be able to finagle these out of somebody. And what these are made of, they're made of foam core, and they have the merchandising photos that were in the merchandising album stuck to the foam core, and then the surrounding border was made of these stickers that they cut out from sticker sheets, and then the middle is basically kind of hand lettered stuff. Very nice display to have. There's no glass over it, there's no nothing. So these would hang in the Kenner room or Kenner floor, and basically show people, hey, this is how you merchandise your stuff on the floor. So Toy Fair came up with some really nice displays. This is a shot of a foam core combo display with foil over top of it. And it's a pretty big display, pretty impressive display, and I'll never own it because Chris has it. So really, I think there were probably 3 versions of this. So there's probably an Empire version of this foil foam core one. There's also a Jedi version of it that Gus has. And then there's some of these logo displays. These are foam core logo displays that were also displayed in the Toy Fair. I brought a couple of these to show you guys. They're up here in the front. It's a Jedi version. And they even had a Power of the Force version that Chris won't give to me. All right, so to go along with those, I don't have any pictures. I don't know if anyone out there has pictures, but of the Toy Fair room for it's probably 85. But they had probably this logo set up with these coins, and there's 2 more of these bigger coins. There's 3 coins total. These are huge coins. Diameter's probably about like this wide. It was this big. The Vader one is actually a 3-dimensional display you can kind of make out there. Very nice displays. I'll sell it to you for the right price. All right, here's some of the Toy Fair displays from the photos. This was, Empire era. So it's probably about 1982. So that's kind of like one of the setups they had at Toy Fair, I assume. Here's a foam core lobby display that was set up in the Kenner lobby. This is probably a more recent display, maybe early 90s. It's using vintage figures to celebrate 756 million. I'm not sure why they stopped at 756 million, but that's what it says. All right, so here's some pre-production stuff we'll go over. And some of the stuff I brought along here, anything that could fit in my little suitcase. This is like a cutout version of that Star Wars